like jacks. I'm like no soda on that Yoda. Had them fiends coming back to keep it deep like the Navy when it's time to attack. Call me Major League when I swing that bat, drafted for hardball. But I'm a knockout king, unbreakable, unshakable. You can call me unfadable. So don't take this game for granted. Load up the cannon, twin fours like Ed and Charles O'Bannon. I'm ready with no training, so stop complaining. Yo, you love it, hey, you hate it. Y'all overrated, so get squashed in the first round. Letting that heat go like nigga was on the mound. You can call me Killjoy when I clown, or Cujo when I write. Slap you up like Ike on release night, I'm tight. But watch your mouth, or grit your teeth like the Klan. Your face is covered with a sheet, run like a meat, or get chopped like beef. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Painkillers, cherry pickers, now your life is really realer than the realest cat you know. Pushing all that powder snow. Now you must be a Keebler elf off in the skies because you soft batch. Missing them chips, you think you lied, but this ain't Apollo. Here today, sunny, no tomorrow. Brick road of sorrow, hollers to follow, point blank. I'm a side rubber grip and a leather hide. No vest, no mess, no stress. 3 times 2 to your fucking chest. No trace, no clue. What the hell you gonna do? Blue is through a feeding tube. I'm about to set it off. Split your motherfucking mouth. Hit it chin and back again. Now you need oxygen. You might never clot again. Blood is getting very thin. Lovenox to help your bruh. Post shots in your fucking gut. Every 6 hours shit. Laxatives to help your shit. Bedpans and rubber sheets. Can't you even feel your feet? Maybe legs, arms is dead. Try to move your eyes and head up. Power cherry get you there when you reach your destination. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Painkillers, cherry pickers. Now your life is really realer than the realest cat you know. Pushing all that powder snow. I like that, boy. Yeah, that's it right there. I guess that's it for y'all boys. Ha. Representing about a Knoxville. You stay crazy. Cleveland. No, you know. Chi-Town, the deep boys. To the next one, baby. Keeping it I'm mad. You know. ATL for your boy. Got love for you Cali boys too. All day, every day. Texas. That's my mission. NY to say what I say. St. Louis, holla at you. Midwest, down south, holla at you. Up north, out west.
Are you gonna listen to the move?
I've been out the loop since '09.
Yeah, I'll be back to get at that though. Check this. I'm at the motherfucking house last night. Guess what the fuck I see?
What you see?
Shamika, what's up?
Fuck you think you fucking with? It's Maxwell, bitch.
Fuck you in them shoes.
Bitch, I'm about to stalk you with these shoes.
I thought I told you to get a jump to Crazy D.
I did give it to Crazy D. You know D, you must have seen money in that. You know he used to produce those nudie DVDs.
Fuck you, thin man. I know you did it.
Don't let your mouth write a check, cause I will take it out on your ass. Damn, man. You serious?
I don't appreciate being roughed up by men, or should I say, male bitches.
Yeah, you gonna work out.
And we look for young ladies like you to host them.
I look like somebody that can host your videos.
That's right. So go change, cause we ain't got all day.
Get off for her.
Really good, though. I'm doing that bullshit.
Crazy. What the hell? How you in my room?
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
What's going on, people? Welcome to another great episode of #ObservationTFR by Crazy D with my special guest host, my sister Tanya M. Congress. How you doing today? Let's get this cracking, lacking, because we got a lot to talk about today.
I am reporting to duty today. Let me tell you. We know what day it is. Actually, it's been this day for 2 days, and so I'm seeing the screenshots of the I early. Now it's not I voted today. It's I early voted today, and things like that. And I see it, and where we stand on that whole thing. But it's just funny to me. I'm getting ready to get my popcorn ready, but. Today, I have sliced pear and ginger. And I have my barley water. It's cloudy because it's set in over barley all night. You strain it. You have to let it sit overnight so it gets the properties from the barley in the water. And I use distilled water for that. But I'm doing pretty good this morning. Another bright, sunshiny day starting out in Cleveland, Ohio. Kind of brisk outside. How you doing?
Hey, as well as can be expected under the circumstances. I have my apple a day, keep the doctor away. Don't want him back ever any a day. My heart won't be down, my head won't be spinning around. I got my apple so I won't have to be in hospital town. All right, so, So people, first and foremost, as I chew on my apple, the phone lines are open, 213-943-3358. 213-943-3358. We want to send shouts and dropouts to everyone watching us on Periscope, Vimeo, and the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the Film Review Live channel. Subscribe to the Film Review Live channel, because not only do we have hashtag TFR Podcast Live, the Film Review, Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, Society podcast, where we give you reviews that save you pocket revenue on theater costs as well as on demand. We have hashtag ObservationTFR by Crazy D with my special guest host Tanya M. Congress. We come on Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, kicking the information, right? And what is the topic today? What is the topic today? Freedom of speech in the House, Part 2. The voices for American blacks echo from nearly over a half a century ago, right? So what are those voices saying? As people emerge to continue to run with the torch of justice to try to get to and cross the finish line, what lessons didn't we learn from an era in American Black Upliftment, which the media kept from us with talk of holidays and birthdays and a quote-unquote dream? What do the voices from over a half a century echo to us, and what new voices have risen up to speak the words obscured, the direction never taken for American blacks to be rightful position in this society from then to now? Let's discuss. The phone lines are open, 213-943-3358 on this Election Day special episode, Freedom of Speech in the House, Part 2. Now, that definition of what that meant, we did that on the show yesterday, episode 49. So you had 2 episodes to watch. This one 49 and now 50. And then this one is standalone, but you still have 49 to go back to get the context of what the title means, right? But what does the voices for American blacks echo? The voices for American blacks echo. What do you think that means before we go further?
So in order to have an echo, there have had to have been a sound that preceded the echo. So it's echoing. That's a trick question for me, because you had some great orators speak in times past about things that, I mean, we play one every day, you know, to open the broadcast with Dr. Martin Luther King. And one of the speeches that's not so popular, that near the end of his life, he was starting to speak a little bit different about the things that was going on. And you had people that came along after that for a little while. And then at some point we reached a bottleneck. I don't know exactly when that occurred. I need to research it, but there was a bottleneck because this same word is not carrying among the masses. You have some people that remain consistent with it, but by and large, you don't have the majority speaking, and we scattered like sheeps and sheeple. That's what it is. The sheeple are scattered.
Black people waiting on CNN to tell them what to be upset about next. Yes, sir. That sits there all the time. Did you ever read it? Yeah. So look. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because we're going on a journey. Like this episode right up off the rip. Smash the subscribe button. Tell 10 of your friends to subscribe to the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. The Film Review Live channel on YouTube, because we will guarantee bring some information through our observations and our opinions that will undoubtedly be invaluable, because it will one day most definitely save your life. The more information you know, the more opportunity that you have in saving your life. And thus, if you're saving your life and you're married, you're saving your significant other's life at the same time. Okay, so let's start with some memes to warm it up, to get warmed up. Let's start with something that seems in the mind continuum just a little frivolous or lackadaisical. When you see it, you say, what does this have to do with freedom of speech in the House? Two, the Voices for American Blacks echo. This right here. Does anyone else have a plastic bag full of other plastic bags somewhere in their house, or is it just me?
It's not just them.
Okay, all right. So let's start warming up now. We're warming it up. We're warming it up. Okay. They say, what did that have to do with anything, Crazy D? Let's just keep flowing through. Smash the share button. Smash the like button. Let people tag your people in this. Let people know that we are on. Yes. Here's another. Us as black people give and receive handouts only to not patronize each other's true worth. Everything in life costs. It's kind of like that plastic bag with a whole bunch of plastic. You get it. Let's keep moving on. All right, people. All right. Do you value? Do those plastic bags come in handy? Yes. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep moving. Okay. Here's a question for the ladies. It may seem like this is totally off center to what is happening. 213-943-3358. Press the like button, the share button. Tag all your friends on all the platforms. Friend, like, share, follow us on all the platforms, right, that we're simulcasting live on. Now, here's a question for you. You know, being in there playing politics, everything connects to everything else in these memes. Let's keep going. Tell me, Tanya, ladies, what does this look mean? What does this look mean?
I can think of a number of scenarios. Either they finished doing something and he went to sleep, or they didn't do anything and he went to sleep, or he's a cheater and she just found out and she's looking at him, or that look could be a summation to say, you are just no good to me in anything. You don't take care of the house. You don't take care of the kids. You don't work no job. You played a video game all day and came and laid down, and then you didn't take care of business with me. So what use are you? She looks totally disgusted.
Is that what that means? Let's keep moving on. All right. Which brings us to this meme. God removes people from your life because he heard conversations that you didn't hear. God removes people from your life because he heard conversations that you didn't hear. Right? That is a great meme, I thought. A great slide to show today, right? Now here's another. This is very important. This is a constant theme running on observations, #ObservationTFR Live. This is a constant theme. Teach your kids that safe adults don't ask kids to keep secrets. Teach your kids that safe adults don't ask kids to keep secrets. What you got to say to that?
You know what? I was just talking to somebody last night about this pedophilia stuff that's going on across the board and the effect it has on particularly boys that grow up to be grown boys, because their growth is stunted, and so their manhood gets challenged by these kind of activities. And I'm going to tell you something. I have not had anything lately tick me off as bad as the thought of someone messing with a child. What kind of perverted mind? Just because something is on a buffet don't mean you put it on your plate. In this society we live in, through watching TV and stuff like that, sometimes spirits come through the shows and all of that, and stuff can enter your mind. But it's something that's out of order and perverse. You just cast that right down. I don't understand a person who lets the thought comes into their mind, they begin to entertain it until it becomes a full-blown act. And that's exactly what they do, people. They tell, Uncle Charles is saying, come with me to the bathroom, or Uncle Charles is waiting until everybody else at the barbecue is drunk, and then sneaking them off into another room where ain't nobody at, just for a feel or touch, or having them touch him. I'm telling you, maybe it's a good thing I don't have any children. I know I would have been overprotective anyway, but I'm telling you, if I had kids and somebody violated my children, it wouldn't even get to the police. It would be a castration party going on. And I'm telling you that. If I had kids and somebody touched my kid, it would be instant castration. No questions asked. No question. Oh, yeah, you can repent. Go to the Lord and repent. Do that. And then your eternal thing will be taken care of with God. But what's going to go on while you yet live is I bet you won't touch nobody else. Not if it was my kid. You wouldn't be touching nobody else. Mm-mm.
You won't touch another one. I have a line in one of my Black Ice Chronicles, where the young lady tells the man, "You won't touch another one." It was a domestic abuse topic that I was writing about. She said, "I bet you won't touch another one." Yeah. Okay, so here's another meme that is interesting that I thought was very creative, taking a photo that was taken in the past, cropping it up a certain way to bring this image to fruition. I thought this was good. Smash the share button, smash the like button. Tell your friends that we are on. Tell your friends that we are on, right? And check this out right here. If Martin Luther King Jr. had Snapchat in 1962, out here with these jive-ass turkeys. First of all, Martin Luther King wouldn't be talking like that. So I thought maybe this was a Caucasian that may have put this down, and then the black people picked it up because it was clever. But he was out there talking about out here with these jive ass turkeys. That's more like the 15
a line
years
from a
down
BLAXPLOITATION.
Yeah, it's like a BLAXPLOITATIOn, but it's more like the Panthers. It would be the Panthers, and that wouldn't be King. King would be more like these devils, these damn devils. I mean, that would be more like King, talking about that. These damn devils. I hear what Elijah Muhammad is talking about now. Yeah. So let's keep Right. Okay, so here's one. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because we are going places. We've got a comment about the touching. Brunner Chan says, "I bet the F they won't touch nobody else with a missing peen. Flat out, that's crazy." That's what she said. Yes. So that's what Yeah, that's what she said, right? Thanks for watching on YouTube. Make sure you smash the subscribe button to the film review and let your people know that we are on, because we are taking a journey like we do every day, Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Here's the next meme. The white media also spreads false propaganda that's designed to create division between black men and black women, right? Now, how does that tie into the meme that was before that was asking you about what does that mean? Who actually put that meme out that black people grabbed and started to populate with? We have to be careful of who is setting up these memes. Stand strong and stop falling for their division propaganda about us. Let me move it up so we can read the rest. Us, because we're all we've got. That's right. We are all we've got. What you got to say to that real quick?
That's absolutely true, and that's something that's my heart is very passionate about, the relation between the black man and black woman. This division is really easily it could be easily broken down, but if you constantly have your ears and your eyes being fed with something else, and then couple that with maybe upbringing that did not foster the best beliefs concerning relationship, and then you have yourself a mess. And so the majority of people, when they go to the altars, getting married, they get married before God and then kick God out the equation once they leave the altar. So God don't have nothing to do with their marriage after that, or their union after that. And that is a big problem that needs to be addressed. And then you have these, take the stupid shows, people getting their coins, they getting their bag, love and hip hop and all that stuff. It's just, it just continues to perpetuate the narrative that does not even have to be.
Love and hip hop is canceled now, mostly because of the COVID, right? But let's move on to this right here. Speaking of cancel culture being canceled, cancel culture is the new poison to the black community. See, we have to get off this hamster wheel, this mindset, and get to the mind state where there is facts, where you are able to analyze facts, catch, analyze, shoot, or catch, analyze, hold, and be able to shoot out the facts when necessary, right? Cancel culture is the new poison to the black community. I don't even say to the black community, I would say for the black community, meaning it's being handed out by someone else to poison you, and you take it and believe that you were the one who created it. That's right. When there's so many things that we have actually created that you would be more than proud to say that you created. But anyway, here we go. Here's one in a nice pink background. It says, forgive yourself and whomever you're holding something against. It is weighing you down from your blessings. That's right. You forgive, but you don't forget, because if you forget, them mofos are going to do it again. So you don't have to have it weighed down, but when they come in front of you, you let you know what time it is and what to say to them. Cast away from me, you devil. I was going to use another word that had a B. But we're trying to say as clean as possible. Okay, here we go. Now here's some mind thought, right? Here's some mind thought. These next two memes are mine thought, right? Here we go. During slavery, if they didn't give us good education, good housing, good food, or good clothes, why did they give us such quote unquote good religion? Dr. Bobby E. Wright. Dr. Bobby E. Wright. Now, the next meme follows right up behind that. And so let's bring this down and bring this up. This is why many have a problem with the Holy Bible. And we're going through this. Smash the share button, smash the like button. It's very important that we get through these, get off this mindset and get into a mind state to have better understanding, middle standing, and overstanding. So here we go. We need some answers in the same black community, in the sane black community. Oops, contradiction. For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Genesis 32:30. Wait a minute. You cannot see my face, for no man can see me and live. Exodus 33:20. Let's go over it again. Oops. Contradiction. For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Genesis 32:30. You cannot see my face, but no man can see me and live. Exodus 33:20. Okay, so what do we say to that?
Well, now at the bottom it says must have been a translation error. Better ignore it. No, you don't have to ignore it. You have to understand what is being said there and have you a Strong's Concordance as you're reading the Bible, which is a dictionary, every word in the Bible and what its translation was. The word face can be different in one scripture as opposed to another. Also, over in the New Testament, I forget which book it is, but it says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, that thought it not robbery to be equal with God. Then it goes on to talk about how once we see him, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. That is likened to the same scripture, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. When you see Christ, you see yourself. Once you see yourself as God, you seeing him face to face. You looking in the mirror, you seeing face to face. So y'all ain't gonna want to accept that because it's on a different line of thought than that. But when you understand translation and you go and study, you have to study. You can't take surface scriptures at the surface and not have any insight into. Now in the Old Testament, it would have been written in Hebrew, so you would have to have the translation of that. And then over in the New Testament, it would have been in Greek. You need the translation of that. But I'm willing to bet that Genesis 32:30 and the scripture that I'm describing, over in the New Testament are alignment, and that you cannot see my face. You notice how it says "my" with a capital M. You cannot see my face, as if I'm sitting here and me and D are on the broadcast. I can see his face. I can see his face. God is saying you can't look upon me because I'm too bright. It'll blind you. That's basically what he's saying. He said, I'm gonna walk past you and let you see my hind parts. Now, what you gonna make out of that? You gonna make some out of that scripture too? Did God walk past and say, I'm gonna let you see my hind parts? Like God was saying, I'm gonna let you see my behind. He's saying, I'm gonna pass by you so I don't blind you, but you can see me walking past you, and you can see me from a behind view. So you just have to know how to translate stuff before coming up with these different kinds of things like that. By all means, scrutinize the scriptures because they do back themselves up. So by all means, question. But then, are you actually looking for an answer, or are you trying to prove a point that's not that you're not gonna be able to prove to somebody who studied.
Now it's funny. I didn't know where I was gonna use this next meme. It wasn't in the order, but it's so perfect because she said, "I'm gonna pass by you and let you see my hind parts." And you know, there is a move in thought process, especially young Pharaoh Atan, who believes that the black woman is God, and if you are walking past and seeing the hind parts, then you would definitely have to say, dun dun dun, dun, a toast to the booty, we'll dance to that. For how else can you capture a boogie if you don't attack from the back? To the rear march. But anyway, we that's about all we can use. Copyright clearance, that's about all we can use. Those few bars there. So I didn't know where that was gonna fit in, but it came in. That was just so perfect. And yes, that is what that says in the scripture, that you will walk past, you will see my hind parts because my face is too bright for you. In translation, yes, that is truly what it says. And so, to the rear march, because you got to follow somebody, right? So here we go. Moving on. Do you eat okra? 1, fried okra. 2, boiled okra. Stuffed okra. Do you eat okra?
I do, not a lot, but I plan on increasing it. From what I understand, okra is very, very good for you, but I just need to look up in what ways it is. Now, when I did eat it, most of the time it was fried, so we're trying to stay away from fried stuff. I've not had it boiled. That looks kind of, oh yes, I have, in soups. Gumbos, there's usually boiled okra in gumbos and soup. So yeah, I have had it boiled, but it has like a slimy texture boiled. So to eat a whole bowl of just that boiled, I don't think so. Not for me, because the texture is not gonna do it. But the stuffed looks interesting. I wonder stuffed with though. I wonder what it's stuffed with. I have to look that up. That's interesting.
Yeah. You know, okra is good, but if you overcook it, it's kind of crunchy. Then you got the little seeds and whatever they call those in the pot, little pods in there. I don't know. It's an acquired taste. Fried is good. Boiled, never had it boiled. I've sautéed it before, and if you let it cook as long as the other vegetables, it gets a little crispy and I don't know. Wow, But anyway, moving on, giving a new meaning to tree hugging. Did you know that if you befriend a tree, that you and the tree will exchange energy? Did you know that if you befriend a tree, that the tree and you will exchange energy, life-sustaining energy? Because how long does a tree stand, right? Trees can stand for centuries, and you will get life-affirming energy from a tree. If I could live the life of a tree, gives a new meaning to tree hugging.
Yeah, I did hear about this tree hugging recently. And I do believe that about trees. I believe that all of God's living things, a tree is a living thing. It doesn't have flesh and blood, but it does carry energy. And I believe that's why eventually I'm going to want to be in an area that has a lot of trees and water. There's something about that. Trees, water, and sunshine really does something for you. And I don't want to just, most of the time we only get those kind of things together when we go on vacation to some exotic place or something. I don't want to do it like that. I want to live like that. So I've been contemplating that for a couple of years now, at least 3 years. I've been contemplating that. being out more open and less city. Just something that's got open air, open skies, and stuff like that. So that's something that is going to be a need for me in these coming days.
That's right. You talk about trees a lot, so that's interesting. Okay, people, here are herbs you can grow in water all year. Right? Rosemary, thyme, basil, sage, oregano, which is oregano, but I always say oregano, like Oregon, oregano. But it's oregano and then mint. But anyway, people, herbs you can grow in water all year. That's right. You can have this. You can break that off. You can even munch on those like leaves. But we're not supposed to say that. We're not supposed to say that because you're not supposed to eat leaves.
You know what? Now,
wait. Okay, let me unplug. You know, we're not supposed to eat leaves, and so we can't really tell you that you should eat leaves. It's just our opinion that you can do that with the herbs. Go ahead.
I have in my Amazon shopping cart right now, I have those very ones for a windowsill garden that you can grow, and it comes there. The seeds are already in the pods, already in a packed dirt in the pots, and all you have to do is put them in the window, and they grow on their own. You just keep them watered. But this thing about not eating leaves, I'm not hearing it, because as these days come ahead, I'm actually researching as to what leaves on what bushes and stuff is going to be edible. And I might be one of the first ones, because I already did it in Jersey. I went and captured some rainwater out the sky and I drank it. And it was, I tell you, I felt really good. It's just that it's hard to collect a lot of rainwater. What is going on? We freezing up. It's hard to collect a lot of rainwater, but I did try that, and then I had people that was in the house that was like, "Well, what is she doing that for?" It was a roommate that we had, and why is she doing that? And people are real arrogant with their questions. Like when you're doing something that's different and everybody else is not doing it, what's she doing that for? Well, I'm doing it. Don't worry about it. You're not doing it. I'm doing it because I have theories. And I'm testing my theories. I am my best test subject. So I went and collected some rainwater, and I felt wonderful. And wait a minute, it came out the sky. There's other stuff in the sky. Yeah. I tested the rainwater because I am getting prepared for a time when things won't be available. So I am experimenting now so that I know I'm going to have the goods, baby. Know that. I'm going to have the goods. So I'm going to be the person that people have to come to and say, well, wait a minute. Remember when you were talking about that? What about this and what about that? I'm already going to have it.
Already going to have it. Right. Which gets us to laying the rubber to the road. Freedom of speech in the house too. The voices for American blacks echo. What is freedom? The person who put this meme together, they asked the question, what is freedom? Right? And they had their idea of what freedom is. You wake up without an alarm clock. Good start of a day. You are not in rush. You work on what you love and value on your own terms. Interesting way of phrasing that. No insecure co-worker, no traffic jam. At your side, your beloved family. You can take a break anytime you want. Read a book. Write a bit. Walk around. What is freedom? That is this particular person's idea of what freedom is, right? And again, and again, and again, as you're in that free state of mind, you can always say this right here again. I have to say it again, once again. Dun, 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 dun. To the rear march. Okay. Enough of that. All right. Parliament. One of my favorite groups of all times, right? Yep. Okay, people. So, let's get to some definitions. Now, definition time. Smash the share button. Smash the like button. We are now about to begin. And so we are looking forward to going through this. Now,
let me say one thing before you go ahead.
Okay. Let me bring this back down so that you can say what you would like to say. Okay, here we go. Going right ahead.
That last meme you had up about what is freedom, that's getting there, because everything on that list, that's how I'm living my life right now. And it definitely puts you in a position to be able to think. When you're absorbed in another person's vision all the time, like you going to work, working a 9 to 5, punching the clock, that's fine. That's honorable. It's honorable to work. You don't work, you don't eat. So it's honorable to work. But you have to set your sights on whatever you're doing outside of your home and outside of yourself is temporary. And you have to think of it that way, so that when you have to get to a place where you can think, you have free time to think. You have free time to pursue. You have free time to, else you'll go to your grave with your dreams and your visions and stuff and never get it done. You'll spend your whole life investing and being invested into another person's vision, never having developed your own. So that's getting there. But there's the rest of it. The money will come through those avenues. That's part of it. But we still gonna need what's due us, though. I'm gonna keep coming back to that. We gonna need that money, though. Whoever is in there, we gonna need that money, because I need some more money to get some. My dreams are big, my visions are big. I need that money. So, but that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, people, smash the share button, smash the like button. Go to the Film Review Live channel. Become a subscriber of the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. If you don't have an account on YouTube, quickly make one, and then you can start collecting your favorite TFR Podcast Live and Observations TFR episodes, along with the various music that we have, the various interviews with interesting people that we have on the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. Subscribe today. Smash the like button. Let your people know that we're on. We're getting ready to hit the rubber to the road now. All of those memes set up to get you ready for where we are. What you value, what you don't, how to interpret the memes that you are seeing that are up, who is sending them, what is the purpose for what they are sending, the use of memes to help you eat healthier so your mind is clear, so that you can catch, analyze, shoot in your mind state and not that mindset on the hamster wheel. Freedom of speech in the house, part 2. The voices for American Blacks echo. So we're going to play a piece from Martin Luther King. Now, not many people, it's rare, not many people get to hear King like this, because they have had us on the I Have a Dream hamster wheel. They've had us on, oh, we gave him a symbolic birthday hamster wheel. They've had us on holiday and this and that and having us fight for this. But this on Election Day, November 3rd, 2020, brings us to where our mindset should be rolling. And so let's look at this. Let's play this. And then, of course, as usual, we're going to break in because, it's an edit by yours truly. The context is there. But we're going to break in and bring more context to the context with our thought on it. So here we go. Let's start right here. It begins with Martin Luther King. It has Malcolm X. And it has the young lady that is fighting the power now, KJ, the activist from out of Kansas City, Missouri. So let's go.
Well, I think we have to see what they are saying. I would be the first to agree that integration does not mean giving up everything that has an Afro-American taint, so to speak, a background. I think there are certain unique things within any culture and certain cultural patterns that when you get to the process of amalgamation can really lift the whole culture. And it seems to me that integration at its best is the opportunity to participate in the beauty of diversity. I think the other thing that we've got to see is that these young people are saying that there must be a revolution of values in our country. As Jimmy Baldwin said on one occasion, what advantage is there in being integrated into a burning house? And I feel that there is a need for a revolution of values in America, because some of the values that presently exist are certainly out of line with the values and the idealistic structure that brought our nation into being. Unfortunately, we haven't been true to these ideals, and many of the values of so-called white middle-class society are values that need to be reviewed and re-evaluated, and in a real sense they need to be changed. So I think the young people in the Negro community who are raising these questions are raising some very profound questions about our total society. In other words, they are saying that there must be a restructuring of the architecture of our society where values are concerned, and with this I would agree with. So in the quest for integration,
Let me stop that for a minute there, right? So in the quest for integration, right? So Martin Luther King is sitting there telling you something that you are not used to hearing from Martin Luther King, because they're talking about Martin Luther King 1963, I have a dream, and he had so many years that went through. This is Martin Luther King 1967, 11 months before he would be assassinated. So his thought process after going through all of this is more in line with what Malcolm was saying, right? And so let's continue on, because it's very important, because as the new generations come on, you have to catch up. You have to catch up. You don't have, it's so urgent for American Black people. There's no time to be talking about the I have a dream Martin Luther King. You learn that, get the A in school or the satisfactory in elementary school. But by the time that you're getting into middle school and high school and going off to college, or going off into your vocation, or going off to your life, you need to know where King was at the end of his life, because where he was at the end of his life is exactly what is deficient in us today, because we're still in 1963 instead of moving forward into 1967, 1968. Right? If we're going to use people who are passed on, if we have such a love for the dead, and we've talked about that on a previous show, you have to use the history that was made so you will know, so you won't repeat. But every time we're going through the same thing, and I tell you that you are trading off by not knowing the history of these freedom fighters, these American Black Upliftment fighters, to fight for the upliftment of American black people. And if you do not know their history, then when someone is telling you and saying something to you, you will deny it and say, no, that is not the way it is, when it is the way that it is. And so let's continue with King here, right? I mean, we have to drive this home, because we see in this election season that the same missteps keep happening, and long as new generations come along and they keep on being miseducated about what people were talking about, it is a perpetual hamster wheel. And we have to get off that perpetual hamster wheel, get out of that mindset, and get into the mind state to be able to see, fact, catch, analyze, and be able to shoot and say, no, that does not fit for what we have to have. We have to have it today. So let's continue on.
I think we can offer our whole nation something, because there are three evils in our nation. It's not only racism, but economic exploitation of poverty would be one, and then militarism. And I think in a sense, and in a very real sense, these three are tied inextricably together, and we aren't going to get rid of one without getting rid of the other.
Fair warning.
Get to KJ the activist. She lights it up, by the way. The words of half a century ago are echoing and coming forward in new voices. King said, besides racism is poverty and exploitation and militarism. This is back in 1967. What is exactly happening right now? Right? And what hasn't happened in the United States lately for nearly 4 years in? No new wars, peace, no terrorist attacks on the United States soil, only domestic attacks between anarchists and accelerationists. Now, if you don't know what that is, you go back to our previous episodes. We do a whole episode on anarchists and accelerationists. We give definition on everything from Marxism to communism to republic to democracy. I mean, we lay it all out for you, right? So that's all there, right? He gives you the three. What haven't we seen lately? But I could guarantee that we will see that shortly again. But we're not talking about the election, because we have moved on from the election. But when politicians, it doesn't matter what party you are, politicians have certain things that generate money for the people who have backed their campaigns. And so thus they will deliver for those people. And guess what will be the loss? Will be the blood, and the treasure of the United States will be the American citizen, mostly American black boys and girls who are just freshly turning 18 years old, who see no other options, because the job market will all of a sudden dry up. You have to see the game. The game has been played for so long that all you have to do is watch. All you have to do is watch. So let's back this up a little bit, right? I'm going to back this up a little bit so we can get a good start right here, right? So this is KJ, the activist, right? Listen to how the voices for American blacks echo from almost over half a century ago to now, to what we have not, the only thing that we had not tried yet, and here it is.
Fair warning, I'm not nice, and I don't seek to be respectable. I'm not asking y'all for anything because y'all can't and won't be both my savior and my oppressor. I don't want reform. I want to turn this building into luxury, low-cost housing. These will make some really nice apartments to me. Firstly, stop using black children as photo opportunities because they're cute now, but in 10 years, they're black male suspect in red shirts and khaki shorts. Eating cookies and drinking milk with children does not absolve you of your complicity in their oppression and denigration, Rick Smith. Because Kansas City will spend more on police than education and then try to encourage children to feast with their oppressors. Y'all are really weird. It's asinine to be called radical or a homegrown terrorist for not wanting government employees to kill citizens in any instance. So I'm not here begging anything of soulless white folks and self-preserving black folks. You get one life, and you all in this room have chosen profits over people, and that's pathetic. So I'm going to spend the next 2 minutes reading y'all for a filth, something I'm sure nobody has ever done. Nathan, the gentleman in the vomit-colored men's warehouse suit in desperate need of Bosley and a haircut, a former FBI agent who exudes white privilege and is the epitome of mediocrity, and who loves Trump so much that he hired his former attorney general at his firm. And it's so sweet because he spent most of this meeting looking away with his head in his hands. Or Mark, Pastor Mark of Victorious Life Church on 34th and Paseo, where the mission is to provide a place and opportunity to worship Jesus Christ and preach a message of hope and faith through God's holy word in the building. Meanwhile, he's subjecting black people to terrorism and un-Christ-like behavior at the hands of KCPD outside the building.
Let's give this some context now. Okay, so this is happening at the Board of Police Commissioners meeting October 27th, 2020, because there has been murders of black people at the hands of police officers in Kansas City, Missouri, right? Kansas City, Missouri. Now, what can we remember about Missouri? What happened in Missouri? Oh yeah, Mike Brown was shot down in the street in Missouri. But what else is Missouri known for? Missouri is known for Sundown Town. That's right. Now, if you watch Lovecraft Country, they talk about sundown towns. That is something that actually existed in the United States of America. Sundown towns, right? So is Kansas City, Missouri formerly a sundown town, or is it still acting much like a sundown town? You know, I did my research and it said someone who lived there said it could have been, no definitive, could have been the county that was representing sundown town. You know, like we have Cuyahoga County for Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio was never a sundown town though. But because most of the whites moved out to the suburbs. But anyway, okay, urban sprawl. But anyway, look. The government, let's go through some definitions real quick before we continue with KJ, the activist, to give context. The government of Kansas City is officially, quote unquote, nonpartisan. Remember, I say, this is why we say certain things on the show. When I say I am not a nonpartisan coon, I'm not an independent coon, I'm not a Repub coon, I'm not a Dixiecrat coon. I keep saying that. We have to have context to what is happening. Now, the government of Kansas City is officially, quote unquote, nonpartisan. However, Dixiecrats have long held a significant dominance of politics throughout the city. In the last 100 years, only 4 Republicans have served as mayor. Only 4 Republicans have served as mayor. So This is happening under what would be called Democrats. We keep telling you, Democrats. What are you going to tell the people in Kansas City, Missouri about supporting Democrats? When the Dixiecrats have ran it, and it was such a thing as sundown towns. What is a sundown town? Also known as sunset towns, gray towns, or sundowner towns, are all white municipalities or neighborhoods in the United States which practice a form of racial segregation by excluding non-whites via some combination of discrimination, local laws, intimidation, and violence. Entire sundown counties and sundown suburbs were also created by the same process. Let me read that again. It says entire sundown counties and sundown suburbs were also created by the same process. Now, what does sundown town mean? What does sundown town mean? The term came from signs posted that said, quote unquote, colored people had to leave town by sundown. The practice was not restricted to the southern states, as at least until the early 1960s, northern states could be nearly as inhospitable to black travelers as Alabama and Georgia. What did they say? Segregation then, segregation now, segregation in the future, as Alabama and Georgia. So this is where this young lady is. She is in Kansas City, Missouri, right? Now, this is just, getting out of mind set and bring this down and getting into mind state before we continue with her presentation to the Board of Police Commission on October 27, 2020. What is is apostolic? Is that the religion that's ruling the day in certain areas in Missouri? Isn't that apostolic? Am I right about that? A lot of American blacks in that area are apostolic. Am I right about that?
Apostolic. Yep.
So apostolic from what, just experiencing it, because I hadn't experienced it, but I did experience it during a interesting time in my sister and our life, as my father passed on. And we had to regulate family members, right? We just leave that right there. That's water under the bridge now. Regulated. Thank you, sayonara. But anyway, look. Apostolic religion. My question is, was apostolic religion placed on American blacks so that they would be dormant in those areas in Missouri? Was it placed on people, and people don't remember that particular religious sect of Christianity was put on them so that they would remain dormant and not stand up and fight? Because it is not, from what I can understand, it's a vex on the spirit if people stand up and fight for what is right. If I'm just interpreting just my observation and my observations and then my opinion on it, if you argue, then you are going somewhat against their particular teaching of what a Christian should be, which I believe is turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek, give them the butt cheek, give them the other butt cheek. Wait a minute now, if they want to ram you up there, they want to make you a puppet. We talked about that, then you do that. If they want to choke you out, you do that. That's what it seems like. And this is where this woman is. Smash the share button, smash the like button. They are in a place where it was sundown towns, and somehow this particular sect of Christianity was put upon them so they would not be in movement and in motion, and probably thought of Martin Luther King and all the other people as, they probably called him Martin Luther like the Caucasians did. It said he was a troublemaker and causing trouble for good God-fearing black folk who just want to go out and vote. What you got to say to that?
And understand the heart of the people that's on this broadcast. It's not to disparage anyone, but we have to tell the truth. We keep it real here, and we tell the truth. So now, I served in mainline Christianity under a non-denominational ministry for close to 15 years. Non-denominational is still a denomination, by the way, because a lot of what they derive, they take a lot, whoever the non-denominational leader is, take a lot of their roots and their foundations from the denomination they came from before they became non-denominational. So, and oddly enough, in my case, it was apostolic that they had come from, and then they went to a non-denominational environment. But with the apostolic sect or denomination of Christianity, it is the most oppressive. After them is Church of God in Christ. But the apostolics are the most oppressed, sad, depressed, despondent. The women. Okay, if you don't wear makeup and you're plain, that's not the point. The point is these women, some of them need to wear some makeup. It would greatly enhance and greatly improve upon their looks. So their men, consequently, a lot of times mistreat them. They're often married to men who will beat them or abuse them or disparage them or embarrass them about their appearance, about their tendency to come across as weak as women. See, it's one thing to be, submission is not a cuss word. Submission is an attitude. It's not a cuss word. But being submitted and being a doormat and being mistreated, those are two different things altogether. So you have a culture of people who oppress each other in one way or another, and they are miserable. And their other family members have come up in this too, and they're in open rebellion. They're like, I am not living the rest of my life like this. It's got to be more to God than this. God got to be more than this. And there's a big divide in between those type of families. They just ain't having it. It's like, I'm not gonna live my life just being bored and boring my entire life. So this is just to give some backdrop on the dominating or ruling denomination that's in this area that this young lady is speaking from. And I like her already. She blazing, but very well spoken.
That's right, she's an educator. But listen. So let's see. Candyman's Mink first said, shaking my head, ... Some of us got 5 children we need to take care for. She need to get a job through the community like everybody else in the hood. Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't even know. I don't even know if this is I see a meme. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that this person. I don't know what this person is supposed to be representing. This might be a person that's not. But anyway, here's the other thing. Black folk.
Co-op.
Yeah. Black folk tired of being exploited by politicians. Okay, she says that, right? She says that. So let's break down the phraseology of this sentence, because Candyman's mink fur, I don't know what that means, but Candyman's mink fur says, black folk tired of being exploited by politicians. Now that's a good catch to get you within the phraseology, but the next line is very problematic, which makes me think that this person is not a black person. Black men in particular. Now, actually, it was supposed to be a comma, black men in particular. So, but she put a period, and there was not proper punctuation there. No capitals, no lowercases. It's all lowercase with periods and not commas. But anyway, black folk tired of being exploited by politicians. Black men in particular. I don't know what that means, right? We want a way to take care of our families. We don't get paid to complain. Let's go through it again. I think this is good. This phraseology is good, and at first it sounds like it's going to be so good, and it sounds like it is perfect logic, but it is illogical. Because that is, in my opinion, just my observations looking, a person that has not understood, doesn't have an understanding, a middle standing, or overstanding of American black history in this country and black oratory. And they need to go back and watch our early shows 1 through 20, so that just like my image, it comes oh so clear. So that you will have the definitions and understand. Sometimes people say erroneous statements because they don't have a grasp of his story, our story, her story within our story collective whole. And so black folk tired of being exploited by politicians. First of all, the way this is written like I'm watching a slave rebellion film. Oh, yes, a master gonna get us if we. I mean, it doesn't sound as if. It doesn't sound as if. Oh, we got another comment. We'll get to that. Black folk tired of being exploited by politicians. Black men in particular. We want a way to take care of our families. We don't get paid to complain. Well, that's true, but if you got 5 children, either you need to check your ancestry and figure out if you were on the breeding farms, because all American black people don't have 5 to 10 kids. Now, some people came from the breeding farms in Philadelphia, Baltimore, and New Orleans, and thus that's where they bred people to be breeders. Got to have a certain breast, got to have a certain vagina, got to have a certain behind, got to be able to hold 5 or 6 kids at once in case they have twins. These are the type of Yakub's travels that travel into breeding slaves. Okay? So, we didn't come from a family of 5, 6 kids all laying up together in the bed. But for those who do, you have to have the information so that you can break and get from out of that. Because once I learned that they use black men as studs, and they would have black women in stalls, and he would jump from one stall to another, I said, I will not be a stud. So let's see what this person says. Don't hurt yourself. What that means is that there are communities that have programs to get certificates to make more money. People complain, ain't no money in the hood, but dope money. Well, actually, everyone who sold dope actually were great patriots because they sold dope for Ronald Reagan for the Iran-Contra. So actually they were They were great patriots for the white man they said they didn't like, but they liked that government cheese though, because the government cheese, we've talked about it before, made those great grilled cheese sandwiches. But anyway, in the 80s, so 82, then crack came, 84, and then from there, they were great black patriots for Ronald Reagan, but the Congress didn't want to fund the Iran-Contra, so he found another way, and they went through, and then Biden came in and wrote the laws that put people away. And then a decade later, 3 strikes, and you're out of there. You already had 2. But you got to go back to the previous shows. So, dope in the hood, it was dope money, but the person who actually collected was the United States federal government, and they still do. You don't think that they let that money source go, do you? But it's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? So let's see what else. Candyman's mink fur keeps commenting. More black folk don't even care to speak with the aldermen for those programs. They'd rather clown and tear up the hood than to go work. Suck on a politician's teeth for handouts. I wonder when we played a Martin Luther King piece where he talks about how the farmers that came over, how they sucked on the United States government teat when they gave them all kinds of free land and all kinds of grants and sent them to school for free. They were sucking on teat too, but for some reason when black people say, just give us what you gave the European immigrant that came over, all of a sudden other black people, I'm not sure if this person is black, but other black people will say, hey, we don't need no handout. But if you knew history, if you knew his story and you knew the story of the immigrants coming to the country, then you would say, where's mine? Because they got theirs, but we built this boy and we ain't got ours, which that's why reparations time. So yeah, so that's a great argument if for those who don't understand the history. Here's what else. I'm a product of the ghetto. Doom, 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 doom. Candyman's mink fur. The ghetto and the programs in place to fix the hood, but ain't enough people in the community supporting the programs. Everybody wants to complain. Okay, I just leave it right there. We just blew that out the water right there with bringing a little history, his story with our story, with her story. Everybody knows that the black woman is the backbone, but you got to go back and watch episode 21 through 40 to get that information. We've already laid this out. You got to catch up, got to catch up. But thank you for watching though. Right? Thank you for watching. We appreciate you watching. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, smash the like button. Make sure you tag people in it so you know that we are on, and subscribe to the Film Review Life channel on YouTube. Now, back to KJ, the activist. We gave some context so that you would have an understanding, a middle standing, and an overstanding of what she is up against. And we will talk about what she has really been up against since this reading of those who have power over black bodies in Kansas City, Missouri. Okay.
And Kathy, Miss, I'll get here before the other commission members, so I look as if I have empathy. And I'm excited to hear what they have to say. Meanwhile, I didn't have anything else to do at 8 o'clock in the morning but be rich and white and retired, so I'm here early. Or Don, owner of Wagner Investments, Blue Notes LLC, and part owner of the Royals, another rich and white and disconnected and out of touch person with nothing but pure apathy seeping through the bulging veins of your paper-colored skin. You age like trash when you're racist and subject others to violence. And David, you don't get a vote, but it'd be a shame if your really progressive students at UMKC Block School of Management knew you were a cop lover in 2020. I don't think they would be a huge fan of that in 2020. In 1960 maybe, but this is 2020. And Q, had I not spent the entirety of the last 6 months dragging you, I would have more to say, but I don't. And Rick, I won't even begin with you, because I don't care enough about you.
Ma'am, your time is up.
To start, but you will have to spend overtime in a chapel at the end of your life. You have blood on your hands, and while these idiots hold you on a pedestal, God does not honor injustice and murder. Anyways, I'll leave you soulless, profit-driven, avaricious, greedy, God-forsaken humans, including anyone who works in this building, with one Bible verse from the Bible, detailing the life of Jesus Christ, who was another unarmed black man murdered by authorities in the book you hellbound people claim to love so much. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? You're really funny. Kiki.
Being friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
And I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
I would agree that no doubt there have been a large number of whites who have posed as liberals and as friends of the Negro and who have time and again betrayed the Negro. On the other hand, I think one could point to a large number of whites who have struggled for civil rights.
Let me stop there for a minute. Okay, look. Malcolm is sitting there right there telling you, right? He's sitting right there telling you, and he's laying it out there for you like the information is already there. We're on this continuous hamster wheel because it's one thing that we haven't done. We haven't looked to connect with one another. Genuinely, like a lip service is one thing, but actually connecting, there's always somebody that wants to look over there and say, you know, those suburbs sure do look nice. I sure would like to go live over there. Instead of making the neighborhoods where you're at, build them up, regentrify the neighborhood for your people, get into knowing how to go about lobbying, sending some of your people into government. Some other people have to be activists. Others have to be in government. Others have to be lawyers. Others have to be doctors, so that within a generation, people can not only own homes, but own the land. Oh, you've got to catch up. That's in episodes 1 through 20. Talking about owning the land. Other than that, you're just squatting. Because you actually don't own the home because you're paying, they call it a mortgage, but it's really rent, because if you don't pay the property, but you got to go back 1 through 20 and get that. We talked about that. So we've already laid the framework on this. You have to go back and catch up. You have to catch up. You have to catch up. We are thousands and 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 thousands of pages in the movement forward, right? But we have to go back and bring context, because People don't know these little nuances and the changes that took place as Martin Luther King got fed up. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King got fed up and figured out that what Malcolm was saying was indeed fact. So let's continue with Malcolm. That's why we mix these together, and we have to show you the voices echoing from over half a century ago and embodied in women, because the men have made themselves, in my opinion, so scary because they were great patriots selling that pebble for Ronald Reagan, and they're still selling it for the United States government. But it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Why would the United States government give up on a source of income for it, and it helps to solve a problem they trying to wipe out a group of people who were not seen as valuable once they were not able to be used for free labor. You got to go back. You got to go back 1 through 20, 21 through 40, right? You got to go back. We've had these discussions already. We're moving forward. Got to catch up. But here we go.
For equality, and have got little or nothing out of it, other than quite a few bruises.
Give me an example.
Well, the large number of white students who have gone into the South, for example, working for SNCC and other organizations.
Not working for SNCC or other organizations, but working for the white political machines who benefit by the voting efforts of Negroes.
Okay. I'll be more specific. I would cite Herbert Hill, for example, as a kind of person who has championed Negro job rights, for example, in New York City and elsewhere. He has fought the political machine.
First time.
Now listen to what Malcolm X says about the Herbert Hill person. I don't know who he is. I don't have to research him, but listen to what he says when he first met him. Right? When he first came, he didn't meet him. When he first came across seeing him, right? Because I'm sure he wasn't interested in meeting him because he had already peeped game. So we have no time for people to keep wrapping around. The generations come around, then all of a sudden they find out that they were duped, and then all of a sudden they want to come over there. It's too late. If it keeps on wrapping around, American blacks won't have what is due to them in this generation here. Generation X will not see it because people are not willing to go research and see the people who use their freedom of speech and put ultimately their lives on the line because they were coming with too much fact that people began to believe. And that's what this is, because it was fact. And the people were coming off of the hamster wheel, getting out of the mindset and getting into the mind state. You cannot be in a mindset and say that one group of whites are evil to you, but the other group of whites aren't, so that you're going to vote for the other group, but the other group are the ones that had sundown towns and run most of the municipalities and most of the local governments in the United States of America. Until most recently. Let's continue on.
I met Herbert Hill personally was when they were picketing to stop the working on the Harlem Hospital in Harlem. Negroes for 10 years had to fight the city to get an annex built on the Harlem Hospital. Because in Harlem we need a hospital more so than anything else. Our people are sick. Plus we do a lot of cutting and shooting of each other, though we profess to be nonviolent. And Herbert Hill brought his forces out and stopped the working on that site. This is the first time I ever saw him. Then when work was brought to a halt on a hospital in Harlem, the same Negroes tried to stop the work at the downstate medical center in Brooklyn, which is predominantly white. They were out there for 3 months during the summer. Couldn't stop anything. And I never saw Herbert Hill out there one time. Now, whenever it takes a stoppage of something that's going to affect the white man, you find the white liberal absent. But when it involves something that primarily will affect the best interests of black people, and black people only, then that white liberal is present. Herbert Hill is the labor secretary for the NAACP. And if he was interested in black people, he would prepare a black man with the type of knowledge and understanding of the labor troubles involving black people that would enable a black man to sit in the same position as Secretary of Labor or Labor Secretary in the NAACP. I'm suspicious of whites who join Negroes and always have to be in the lead, who always have to be the head, who always have to be at the top in Negro organizations.
Let me stop there for a minute. That was Malcolm X 1963. Did you notice that it took Martin Luther King until around 66, 67, 68 to get to getting around to what Malcolm was saying after seeing the game that was run? We do not have time. We do not have time. We cannot afford to keep doing this every single generation. We cannot afford to do this. People have to catch up fast. Unfortunately, you don't have the time to have the honeymoon moments where you're in the honeymoon situation and you're just now getting to know Malcolm and Martin and all the others, Medgar Evers and Thurgood Marshall and all the movers and shakers in it. You have to get in and be on the page. You have to have studied when you were young, and when you step out at 18 years old, you have to have it to move forward to say reparations then, reparations now, reparations in the future. We have a whole show on it. But this is a perfect example, a perfect parallel to what's going on now with what was going on with Martin Luther King and Malcolm, and what is going on with groups of people that say, we are not voting until you provide for the people like you're going to try to provide for those illegal immigrants. But that's a whole nother show on that. You got to catch up. Y'all, look, go ahead.
You know what? And to our watcher there, there's nobody that is asking for a handout. A handout is something that's not due you, and you asking for a favor. Everything that we're talking about is just due, recompense. Just due. So ain't nobody asking for a handout. We're demanding our just due. Understand that. Don't get it twisted.
Those whites who really have the interest of blacks at heart, let them give some advice to some Negroes and stand on the sideline. But don't join the organization and then get at the head of it and pose as a friend of Negroes.
Well, I would defend his sincerity and his commitment. And more than that, I would say that just because a person is a Negro or a black American does not mean that he's going to struggle for Negro rights or for jobs for Negroes or anything.
Okay, here's this divide and conquer coming, right? He's getting ready to try a divide and conquer tactic to get Malcolm to speak on another American black that he has not come in contact with, right? And watch how Malcolm handles this, because Malcolm spoke to people who he had come in contact with, or who he was opposite and opposed to, diametrically opposed to their stance. But that didn't mean that he did not love them still. If you're on the 213-943-3358 line and you want to comment, click 1 on the touch tone dial, and we will know that you want to come in to get in on the conversation. Let's continue on with listen to this divide and conquer tactic that he's going to do. And you have to learn from the masters to know what is necessary to be done if you are looking to be, as some people say, on code and have a understanding, middle standing, and overstanding of what's actually happening. Here we go.
Else, I think that today you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
Minister Malcolm, I'd like to... Well, I could cite one example would be Congressman Dawson, for example, in Chicago. In Chicago, a large number of liberals located in the Hyde Park district have consistently fought Dawson and his betrayals of the Negro, and they've also fought some of the people who represent Dawson on the Chicago City Council.
The only Negro I know who is constantly fought, only Negro politician that I know who is constantly fought by white liberals is Adam Clayton Powell. And they call him a racist because he speaks so bluntly on the race issue. But I'm not, as I said, not too familiar with Dawson and his work.
You've called people like Martin Luther King, who just got a Nobel Peace Prize, an Uncle Tom. Is this correct, first?
Well, I'd rather say that in the States, there's a law that has recently been passed, or a decision handed down by the court, wherein if you call someone an Uncle Tom, they can sue you for libel. Well, so I never refer to them as Uncle Toms. I would say that Uncle Martin is my friend.
Uncle Martin is your friend, yet you would disagree with his approach to what he wants to accomplish.
Definitely. If his approach would bring about what the black man in America needs to completely eliminate the problem that we have, I would say well and good. But I very much doubt that anyone who adopts the approach that Martin Luther King has been teaching to our people in that country can point to any meaningful gains that has actually served to solve the problem.
Right? So we can't afford to keep being on that hamster wheel. We're on that hamster wheel, and we're going to be on that hamster wheel. And if this happens like it happens, oops, ding dong, you did it again. We did it to ourselves again, thinking fearful when they're all in the same boat. They're all in the same boat. So listen, now we cut to Malcolm. That was 1965, shortly before he was assassinated, right? Let's go back to Martin, 67, 11 months before he was assassinated. Let me back it up a little bit so I can get the whole of him starting. I'll back up a little bit on Malcolm there. Okay, so we cannot afford to keep being on the hamster wheel and thinking that we are doing something that is new and innovative when it's still going around in that same 360-degree infinity circle. It's in infinity. Here we go. Let's go.
Martin Luther King has been teaching to our people in that country can point to any meaningful gains that has actually served to solve the problem.
One during this period of transition has to be very honest with America. And honesty impels me to admit that America has broad racist elements still alive. Racism is still existing in American society in many areas of the society, North and South. And the other thing is that there has never been a single, solid, determined commitment of large segments of white America on the whole question of racial equality. I think we have to see that vacillation has always existed, ambivalence has always existed, and this to me is the so-called white backlash. It's merely a new name for an old phenomenon. I see the white backlash as a continuation of the same ambivalence and vacillation of white America on the whole question of racial justice that has existed since the founding of our nation. I think the other thing that we must see at this time is that many of the people who supported us in Selma, in Birmingham, were really outraged about the extremist behavior toward Negroes. But they were not at that moment, and they are not now, committed to genuine equality for Negroes. It's much easier to integrate a lunch counter than it is to guarantee an annual income, for instance, to get rid of poverty for Negroes and all poor people. It's much easier to integrate a bus than it is to make genuine integration a reality and quality education a reality in our schools. It's much easier to integrate even a public park than it is to get rid of slums. And I think we are in a new era, a new phase of the struggle, where we have moved from a struggle for decency, which characterized our struggle for 10 or 12 years, to a struggle for genuine equality. And this is where we are getting the resistance, because there was never any intention to go this far. People were reacting to Bull Connor and to Jim Clark rather than acting in good faith for the realization of genuine equality.
Black Muslims have sometimes, whether you have or not, and I think probably you have sometimes, it seemed to me, been preaching hate to meet hate.
I don't advocate any kind of hate.
But there's a lot of talk that sounds very much like it.
No, I think that the guilt complex of the American white man is so profound until when you begin to analyze the real condition of the black man in America, instead of the American white man eliminating the causes that create that condition, he tries to cover it up by accusing his accusers of teaching hate. But actually, they're just exposing him for being responsible for what exists.
In the South, particularly in Alabama, you had visible villains: Jim Clark, Bull Connor, cattle prods, police dogs. But in the North, you don't have those visible villains. Isn't it hard to get your people aroused and directed at something that isn't visible?
Well, that's exactly right, and this is what I was saying when I said it's harder to see a target. In the South, in the nonviolent movement, we were aided always, on the whole, by the brutality of our opponent. It isn't the same way in the North. The other thing is that you don't have legal segregation in the North as you do in the South. So it is much more difficult to get people to see exactly what you're doing, but it isn't an impossible job. It's a hard, it's a tedious job at times to get people to be aroused from their apathetic slumbers, but I still feel that Negroes in the North can be motivated just as they were motivated in the South. And I think as time goes on with the growing economic deprivation in the Negro community, it will even be easier, because people will come to see that not only is something wrong in general, but something is wrong in particular in their own economic and housing situations.
We have seen, now they're trying to clip, they're trying to clip, they're trying to clip. How about that? Listen, so what we've seen here, 1967, Martin Luther King describes an apathy to just go along and get along and have a rugged individualism, and that's why he couldn't seem to get people to see in the North. And now that it seems like it's so much easier now, there really is an apathy. Mentioning going along with each generation. And why does each generation come in and not have their boots laced from 8 to 18 so they could be ready to get out to push for reparations then, reparations now, reparations in the future? Is because there is a apathetic nature on American blacks in this country. There is an apathetic nature on Africans in various African countries allowing Chinese to come in. Chinese and Indians from India to come in. There's an apathy that you would say, hey, I'll take someone who says they're black, but not really black. I don't really care. I'm tired. And I want to just tell my kid, just get up and just get a job. No lacing of the boots from 8 to 18. So you know we're going for this. There's going for reparations then, reparations now, reparations in the future. We have a whole show on it. Go back and watch it. But it's apathy, and he talks about it in 67. The reason why the generations are not prepared and do not know the knowledge, but are only fed the knowledge of the hamster wheel mindset is because the generation before that birthed them were apathetic. And the ones that are birthing the kids that would be considered the crack baby era and the ones afterwards, they didn't even know that they were great patriots for Ronald Reagan selling that ready crop. You don't even know. You didn't even know that you were an experiment. But we've talked about that too. You need to catch up on our episodes. So let's continue. Martin Luther King, 1967, telling you that you're apathetic in 2020. Telling you that you're apathetic. Being that you love and you worship the dead. We have to bring the dead and bring the modern 2020 context to what the dead in their brilliance when they were alive said, so that you can finally move forward and quit being on this continuous hamster wheel. Let's continue.
Well, that's something of an argument, but I've heard speeches made by some of the people of your group. I think I've heard you make speeches. It seemed to me that you were advocating what I would have to describe, I think, as violence to meet the serious injuries that have been done your people, with which I totally agree.
I don't call that violence. I don't in any way encourage black people to go out and initiate acts of aggression indiscriminately against whites. But I do believe that the black man in the United States and any human being, anywhere, is well within his right to do whatever is necessary, by any means necessary, to protect his life and property, especially in a country where the federal government itself has proven that it is either unable or unwilling to protect the lives and property of those human beings.
The fact is that the Negro was a slave in this country for 244 years. That was a willful thing that was done. The Negro was brought here in chains, treated in very inhuman fashion, and this led to the thingification of the Negro. So he was not looked upon as a person. He was not looked upon as a human being with the same status and worth as other human beings. And the other thing is that human beings cannot continue to do wrong without eventually rationalizing that wrong. So slavery was justified morally, biologically, theoretically, scientifically, everything else. And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face.
What have we been talking about? What have we been talking about when we were in episode 25 and we broke down Biden's plan and Trump's plan? What did we talk about? What did we talk about? The long, winding road of immigrant rights that the Biden plan has, and the plan for American blacks is lift every voice and sing, hey, it's a disgrace. If the platinum plan is a disgrace, then lift every voice and sing, going back to when there was 100 stanzas in music. I mean, it's like, that's a disgrace going way back, right? That's a disgrace. That's a disgrace. And they want to put you in debt. They want to give you $15,000 rebate that you don't even see in your hand. It's a tax break. And you're going to, if the time downturns again, you will lose your house. You won't be able to pay a property tax, and you will be out of homes again. It is the same reciprocal circle, but you didn't want to listen. Here's Martin Luther King, 1967, telling you, y'all better learn one thing about #ObservationTFR. When we're telling you these things, we have the people who lived it before us who can back us up. You know how they talk about ancestors? I have the footage because I'm a film dude. And I have the footage to show you that what we say is not misnomer. It's not just imagination. It's not just opinion, though we have to say observations and opinions because it's just our observations through experience. Martin Luther King is telling you back in 1967 what's going on in 2020, and it is a disgrace because people didn't get it. They didn't get it. In 2027, it will be 40 years since he delivered this. 40 years. There are people who were 1 in 67. It'll be 40 years, right? And nothing. No, that's longer than that. It's 50 years. Because it's 67 and 2000. Yeah, it's 50 years, right? Am I right? Am I right on my calculation? I'm doing it fast in my head. Yeah, so it's 50, yeah. So it's 67, 77, 87, 97.
Yeah, 50 years.
50, it'd be 50 years. Somebody who was born in 67. Now, it's got to be longer than that. Because you're 50, you were born in 66, so you'll be 55 next year. So it'll be more than that. Whatever it is, it's over 60 years, right? It's over 60 years. And it is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. It is a disgrace that we are discussing the same things in 2020 that Martin Luther King, when he came and he had been through it and he wrote a book, Where Do We Go From Here? In 1967, he's telling you that something is awry and you did not listen and you were so, in our opinion, apathetic. He's telling you that you're apathetic. That you didn't take up the mantle to push for making sure that we had it. You went along with it. Yeah, let's rub shoulders. Let's let all these people into our neighborhood to have businesses. I don't like going to shop with my black people to look like me. I like to go shop with the Arab man because he got the wavy hair and he's a little exotic. I like to go with the Vietnamese and the Korean. And I like to feel like an international Negro. Then they shooting you in your head. And then they raping your women. Because that's what it is, because they're not taking care of the kids. That's a rape. That's a rape. We told that story already. So let's continue with what Malcolm Martin Luther was saying once he came to realize what was going on. Malcolm Martin, listen to this. This is very crucial and key. Stop saying that we're looking for handouts. As a black person, that means that you are ignorant to the history. You're ignorant to the history. You're ignorant to the freedom fighting. Here we go.
The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma. And that can never be overlooked. So I think these things are absolutely necessary. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And
freedom and famine at the same time, and we still overcame. A group of people that were seen and valued as nothing because they couldn't get free labor from you, we still overcame, but now it is time for them to get the reparations together, and any politician that is black, well, we already talked about the demon. You need to go back and watch those episodes last week. Possibility, and probabilities. It's a 5-series set. 2 hours each, 10 hours. Go back and watch those episodes. We've already laid it out. Any black politician that comes up and tells you something, but they don't follow through, they tell you something, they are a devil. They are a devil, and they are a devil in your midst, and they are lying to you, and you are allowing them to lie to you. You are allowing it because you're apathetic and you want to just be along, to get along, to be able to stand side by side. I want to be able to go shopping. I want to stand with my white people. I want to rub my shoulders with the white people. They're going back to the burbs and big houses. You're going back to the shanty shacks in a minute. You're going to be going back to the shanty shacks. Have you ever seen that video by Richard Pryor when Richard Pryor was singing? Richard Pryor could sing. And it shows the most dilapidated inside. It's not a project, it's like a hotel room, and it is the most devastating thing that you could ever see. And he was singing, and he was talking about his life, and they show you this room, and the devastation in the room is nothing that you're saying. That's where you're going to be living. Because they're giving you need to go back and watch the other shows. You didn't listen. Here's Martin Luther King telling you. We had to do this on November 3rd, voting day, to give you context to what you did to cut your own throats out of fear. Out of fear. What you did to cut your own throats, to make immigrants come in. Now you're going to have to fight him, and he's going to stand up there and do plausible deniability. Oh, no, it's not going to happen. You're going to still have jobs. And you're not going to have jobs. And it's putting us back another 50 to 100 years, which is the game of a segregationist. Go back and watch our shows on the various different types of races. Let's continue on.
When white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression, and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
We feel that the problem, number one, of the black man in America is beyond America's ability to solve. It's a human problem, not an American problem or a Negro problem. And as a human problem or a world problem, we feel that it should be taken out of the jurisdiction of the United States government and the United States courts and taken into the United Nations in the same manner that the problems of the black man in South Africa, Angola, and other parts of the world, and even the way they're trying to bring the problems of the Jews in Russia into the United Nations because of violation of human rights. We believe that our problem is one not of violation of civil rights, but a violation of human rights. Not only are we denied the right to be a citizen in the United States, we're denied the right to be a human being.
You see, we told you about the Jewish situation last week, and we showed you it only took 95 years to get Jerusalem. It was a two-step process, right? And they were fleeing. There was something that fled to the United States, fled to England, and all that. And do you see the commercials about the Russian Jews that are still there, that are in poverty, that need you to send your donations to help them? Each one gets a food box with water. And you see that? Malcolm is talking history on there and bringing parallel to what's happening to the American black man and American black woman, the American black boy, the American black girl, the American black family in the United States of America, the corporation, that we're supposed to be citizens of this corporation. Not persons, not the people, but citizens. He's telling history that goes back to 1875 with the Jewish people in Russia, and then the annexing and getting this swath of land, and the UN put in so that they would be able to be protected. And so this is what he's talking about. But if you do not know that history and that people are afforded for wrongs that were done to them, which are called crimes against humanity, and you don't know that, you should not be talking. You should not be talking. You should not have an opinion. You should go catch up, get in the books, and get to the 388,000 pages where we're talking today from page 1. Anyone who says that black people are out for handouts, either they don't know the history of the world and what governments are supposed to do for their citizens, or they're willfully doing it, which makes them coons. And I've told you before, and I'm hoping that what the people made, the decisions that they made on this, that they made the decisions because they were uninformed. Because if they are informed, but you know what? Once you watch one of these programs, all of the hours that we have, you are informed. If you choose to believe it or not, you have heard it, so then we can assess you. We may not judge if you're going to go to heaven or hell or not, to the pearly gates, to paradise, or to everlasting lake, hellfire. We may not be able to say it, but we can assess that you have been a sellout to your own people. If you willfully knew, you heard it, and you just said, hey, that's some bull. And we waited until November 3rd to bring you Malcolm and Martin to give you full context that we're not just talking, but we've been giving you information, definitions all the time. It was no need for you to shoot yourself, cut your own neck, violate yourself again to set us back 50 to another 100 years where Generation Z won't see it. And it'll be a split. Always some people over in Generation Z, they'll say, oh, we need to stay with this party. We need to stay with this party because I like to go get my Vienna sausage. I got to have my brown, maybe I get me some scotch. I'll be sitting there tingling the glasses, smoking on cigars, get on that jet. Gotta get on that jet. You know, gotta be around the white folks. Gotta be around the white folks. When you gonna wanna be around your own people? When you gonna stop being patriots for the United States government other than going to war and being a true patriot in the United States military? When you gonna stop being a patriot selling that junk to people, selling whatever they're selling that they get a piece of? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. It's just our opinions through observation. Right? When you gonna wise up like Malcolm? When you gonna wise up like Martin did? Malcolm had it in 63, 65. Before that, Martin had to go through experience and get it in 66, 67, 68, when he came to the pinnacle of what he knew. When Malcolm came to the pinnacle of what he knew, when Medgar Evers was a threat and they felt had come to the pinnacle of what he knew, when are you going to be loyal to your own? When are you going to feel that you have duty to your own and that your own is the most important? Because when those immigrants start coming in and they start taking those jobs, and you're in the food lines that will all of a sudden, for some reason, be underfunded because the white Caucasians will have their jobs again. They will be underfunded all of a sudden when it's just you. Just like Biden. Like, we're not talking about the election because we're past the election. We're talking about a mindset to a mind state. And we gave you the context and the information to advance forward, right? Just like Biden said, Biden was saying, oh, it's peaceful protests. Soon as that popped off, soon as it popped off in Philadelphia and it was majority blacks out there, what did Biden say? There is no place for looting in we know that something went wrong, but there's no place for you looting. But before, it was peaceful protests when Antifa was out there destroying everything. They were predominantly whites. We've got the shows and we got the footage on that. There's no need for you to be ignorant to it unless you want to be willfully ignorant to it. We have the footage. We have the black people out there who were protesting, who said that looting and burning is wrong. It does not keep us safe. You are doing what you want to do, talking about death to America. And why would we want death to America when, if the state falls, what is it for American black people? But you didn't take the time to watch because it didn't let your dopamine release and you didn't get a chance to feel good. You didn't get a chance to feel good. You didn't get a chance to feel good. You are really okay, people. So look, what you got to say? We are extremely over time by 8 minutes, but we had to get that all out. I just had to chop it up for the replay over all of the podcasts. It'd be a bonus. But what you got to say? What you got to say?
100 hours. 100 hours of information leading up to, well, today makes 100 hours. So 98 leading up to, this time that we're in. 98 hours of research, putting together, making film clips, all to bring the information to you so that you will have it. 100 hours, 100 hours. And for anybody in this time to have ever turned on any of those broadcasts and then clicked out of them because you didn't want to listen, because it wasn't some buffoonery that your mind has been conditioned to take, for anybody in this time that serves as a politician in this nation and does not serve in the best interest of their own people in an effort to prove that you're fair and honest and wholesome. For any person that takes the position of a jellyback, any black person that's serving in office that's not doing anything for black people, then you're self-hating. You hate yourself. You don't know yourself. You don't understand the history, and you think that by taking that stance, that's putting you in a favorable position. No, this is what it puts you in. Behind closed doors, when they speak of you, they speak of like patting a dog on the head. Yeah, he's a good one. He's agreeable. He's a good guy. Good guy. But try making a demand. You won't even be regarded. You won't be respected as even making a request because you've already grabbed your ankles. So you won't even be recognized as making a request. In my eyes, and in the eyes of people who see, in the eyes of people who can sit straightway and say what it is, you are despicable. And so you would be best just to go somewhere and sit down. You done made your little bag off what you did. Go on and sit down and ride off into the sunset with your family and go take cover. Because the weak, only the strong survive. The weak go first. You the ones that was killed first in the horror movies. This is a serious thing. And I made jokes about I'm gonna have my thing of popcorn. I'm gonna have to take extra carb blockers because I'm gonna be eating popcorn watching this roll out. But my hopes is that the person who has already done something for blacks, the first president that's been in to do it, no matter how much y'all hate him, if you go do the research, you'll find that he did begin to keep his word. He needs the extra 4 years to keep the rest of it. But even with that time out, if you didn't make any demands, you taking your next generation, you can pat yourself on the back. Y'all can draw up your own awards, have your own awards show, the Jellyback Awards. The Jellyback Awards. And you can hang that award on your wall. Make sure you have it encapsulated in gold. And you can hang that award on your wall and you can pass it on to your generations after you. I got the Jellyback Award for setting your future where it is right now, making your work harder before you were even born. I did this and this is the award I got. Aren't you proud of me? Aren't you proud? Aren't you proud? I just, I don't know what to say. We have come this far. It's 50 years since Martin and Malcolm. 50 years. And y'all still goofy as... Oh, Lord, thank you for catching my tongue. You still goofy. Oh, we going to the voting polls. Oh, we're going to vote. I voted. I'm driving to the voting polls. Oh, I got my badge on. Look, I voted early this year. I voted early. You're just as proud and goofy as anything I ever seen in my entire 54 years of life. Goofy. And so you're gonna see what it is to be sodomized here in a minute. If your boy get in there, if Biden get in there, you're gonna experience sodomy on multiple levels. They're going into every orifice that they can in you. You're gonna feel it everywhere. Your ears, your nose, your mouth, your behind, everywhere there's an opening, you're gonna feel it. They're gonna make you feel it. And I have to put it this graphic so that you understand the severity of your crime, the severity of your offense. You I'm done.
They gonna be skeeting in your ears. Man, they get in there, they start bringing them immigrants in non-stop across that, not even across the border. They're gonna be bringing them in from everywhere. Oh, come on in, come on in, come on in. They gonna come on in, they gonna... There ain't gonna be a job. There gonna be a job. The only thing is there's gonna be a language barrier, and that might be able to help you. But when the people on the job is speaking nothing but Espanol, or they speaking Cantonese or Mandarin, or they're speaking whatever Taiwanese speak, or whatever Filipinos speak, and they say, well, just show us, and then they talk in another language, they're not showing you nothing. You're going to get your pink slip, and you will have trained them. See, people don't really realize that this is the game. You were and are part of a people who were not seen as valuable, not seen as persons, because we already told you what a person is, which means you're not the people, but you got your citizenship and your right to vote, but you were seen as a being that was not necessary and not valuable anymore because your work was not able to be used. Your body was not, your soul, your brain was not able to be used for free. And you didn't realize the game. Anybody who's got kids, got children, it is a disgrace. It is a disgrace that you did what you did. It's a disgrace. The biggest in voting, I'm going to say it again, there's yay, nay, and abstain. And I know on the ballot, when we went to go vote, there was an abstaining. We said abstain. None of the candidates. There was about 5 of them. I didn't know there was many people was running for president. Abstain. None of these candidates. I let my vote be heard that I abstained. And the best thing that people could have done was abstain. Because this was supposed to be a battle between anarchists and accelerationists, and you chose sides. You chose the side of the anarchists. We've got shows about it. You got to go catch up. You chose the side of the anarchists. Right? And then there's other blacks who chose the side of the accelerationists. And we told you on the show that really we should do that old school adage of we're just going to be out the way of this one, because it was a battle for the soul of America and who we would then politic with. If you gave your vote without any demand, then they're not going to politic with you because they already got you in their back pocket. That's how politics works. We told you that. You didn't listen. But because you abstained, the other guy would have to try to come to the table with something because you would be up in his butt. But people going to go... Beyonce, did you see Beyonce? Did you see Beyonce? She had on she voted. She gonna be up in the White House. And they gonna all be up there, minstrel showing. Why don't you get the black face with the red lips? Topsy and Bopsy. Oh, watch. Everybody's gonna be, watch, Kennedy Center. It's gonna be jumping. Oh my God, back to Kennedy Center. back to Kennedy Center. Oh, they're gonna be like, oh yeah. They're gonna be up there in the room. They'll be like, old time blues. But I ain't gonna get up there. Old Man River. Come on. I'm gonna be doing Paul Robeson. Come on, boy. He's gonna be talking that. Come on, boy. Old Man River. Oh yeah. It's gonna be a minstrel show in the White House. They were minstrel showing for Obama. We already told you about Obama. Obama is a trust fund kid. He ain't you. But you went and voted because you didn't listen. You don't even know who his stepfather was. Who led them well off. Huh?
Room for
Yeah,
president.
they gonna be like, come on, boy. You ain't black if you ain't coming to the White House to sing for old Joe. Come on, Old Man River. They're gonna be, John Legend gonna be up there. He'll be doing his two-step singing. Alicia Keys gonna be in there. Oh, all the light-skinned Negroes. Close to Massa. It's just my opinion, my observations on it. Boy. Somehow, they're gonna bring India Irie out of it. And the bleached India Irie, she's gonna come in there and sing. Wait. Chrisette Michelle. Remember, they're gonna redeem Chrisette Michelle, and she gonna come in there and be able to sing in the White House after she tried to come together with Trump, and they slammed her career. And then she been basically, from what I last reports, seemed like she was struggling because she couldn't get any work. And now we didn't have work then, and then COVID. Oh my God! You know, come on in, good girl, sing for us. Oh man, it's gonna be a minstrel show, and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna eat it up. BET's gonna be on there. All those immigrants over there, black immigrants over there at BET, talking about go vote, showing you all the ratchetness, showing the African girls doing that funny ass booty twisting they be doing. Not even. I mean, come on. We after hours now. Let's get loose. We after hours. Look. That funny booty twisting they be doing. That's not American black booty wop. That American black booty wop. What the hell is that, man? The butt don't even jiggle the same. Let the next generation being fooled by that crap. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Them chicks be bleaching themselves as white as can be, talking about white Jesus save me. What about the preacher over there in Nigeria? Had the guy laying in the casket, talking about bringing him back to life, and he twitched a little bit before it was time for him to wake up because he thought it was calling good, because the preacher took another beat before he said it, then he woke up. And he said, oh, and all the people screaming, This is crazy. At the time when Malcolm was talking in 1965, it was 22 million American blacks. It is now 22 million African immigrants. Would have been 66 million American blacks, but instead now it's only 42 to 44 million because of abortion, Margaret Sanger, and the Planned Parenthood, only in American black neighborhoods. Fertility clinics in white American neighborhoods. Wow. That's crazy. That's the craziest dance ever. And then they be dipping and get out of here. Get out of here. And the people be like, dip. They do they little stuff. Get out of here. That is an imitation at best. And if the black women were still dancing instead of having intellect and getting education, there wouldn't be nothing that none of them other black people from other countries could do against real American black women. We're the pace setter. But anyway, all right. So When these immigrants start coming down, we're just telling you what's going to happen. If this happens later tonight, get ready. Your job is on the line. Hope you are happy. Everybody has been practicing herd immunity. Watch all that get locked down. And watch the cops come out the crackheads. We told you that. Because you're dealing with Dixiecrats. And Dixiecrats run the cities, the municipalities, the local government. All right, people. So look, you have been watching an extended episode of hashtag ObservationTFR, episode 50, Freedumb of Speech in the House, because y'all niggas want to be in the house too. The voices of American blacks echo. Part 3 tomorrow. Stay tuned. We will be back. We come on Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. It's hashtag ObservationsTFR by Crazy D with his special guest host, my sister, Tanya M. Congress, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Here's the thing about Germany, why I made the curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart. Crazy.